It is horrifying to realize how standard narcissistic abuse plays out. It's interesting as well because you do get the feeling like they're all trained in the same school or they've all come from the same planet. It's quite a simple entity, it's quite a simple engine. It just wants you to do what it wants you to do. It's a director, you're an actor. Just fulfill your role. Stop giving me grief, just say the words I want you to say and everything will be okay. When your directive is so simple, you end up doing and saying the same things because you only have a certain number of strategies that you can leverage against that person, or a certain number of things you can say to that person to get them to give you what you want.
That's a clip from a new documentary film narcissistic abuse recovery coach Richard Grannon is in, called The Narcissist Playbook. And not only am I excited about that movie, it's gonna be awesome based on the dozens of clips they posted on YouTube. But that leads us to today's topic, 4 toxic standard plays from the Narcissist, Sociopaths, or Psychopaths playbook. No more saying CCC while walking around blind. Once was blind, but now I see. Textbook play number 1. Abusers use the majority effect. Narcissistic psychopath H.G. Tudor's The Ultra said this in an interview for veteran podcaster Brad Carr.
What is the majority effect?
Well, the majority effect is the suggestion that the majority of people are, for instance, against you. They perceive that the majority of people are on board with the smear, that they've accepted it.
So the majority effect is the tendency to believe that something is true or correct simply because most people believe. Well, if most people believed the earth was flat, would that change the earth's shape, brothers and sisters? The majority effect is a way of creating an illusion through the use of social dynamics. 10 people agreeing does not equal 10 separate confirmations that something is true. But psychopathic cult leaders try to create a dynamic in which everyone is relying on everybody else, pushing their biggest supporters right into a herd mentality. Well, I'm part of the herd of the derpers. Narcissistic psychopath H.G. Tudor the Ultra confirms that this move is about pushing a herd mentality.
The majority effect lends credence to the smear campaign because people engage in that herd mentality.
To increase the control the majority effect has over their herds, abusers do this to their intended targets.
We will turn people that were your supporters against you. The fact that we've been able to convince somebody that was on your side to come over to our side is quite devastating, and that particularly helps in generating the majority effect because, you know, it's the usual thing of, well, his mates are all going to support him, aren't they? His family are going to support him. Well, hang on a second. A supposedly neutral third party goes, but her sister has taken against her, and thus it makes the smear campaign more effective.
Let's expand on this through a random example. Let's say you invite one of your best friends to be your best man at your wedding at a time when these abusers not only are against you, but have found an echo chamber on social media, a liar's paradise from which they pump out lies to smear you. And these emotionally dysregulating lies, these fantasy-building lies, which can never be known or responded to directly, are manufacturing flying monkeys against you. By inviting your best man to play that role in your wedding, you've placed him in a bind. He wants to be there for you, but he wants to avoid the hatred, abuse, and harassment that the flying monkeys, the herd of the derpers, will undoubtedly send his way, simply as a function of being your best man. So he tries to appease both you and the derpers. He's your best man, and then later he's someone who appears to have completely turned against you. But what else was he supposed to do? He's right to fear flying monkeys and their accidental culty-doltiness. He's right to fear narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. What often flies under the radar when it comes to derpers is their ability to use mobs, which is something most people find quite intimidating and gives derpers the power to strong-arm others. The strategic use of the majority effect is yet another example of chronic dishonesty and extreme manipulativeness, which, as you know by now, are two sides of the same coin, the same control function. I already told you that derpers use emotional dysregulation to gain control. I've already told you that they use fantasy to gain control, and now you know that derpers use social dynamics to gain control. These abusers push others into things by robbing them of consent as part of their infantile pathology. They do not provide you with the truth. If they informed you, you would be of no use to them, and they want to use you. So they disinform you and or use lies by omission. That's called exploiting your empathy. That's called being malware in human form. Their abnormal, pathological, extremely infantile need for control is what makes them a menace to our society. We need them off the streets. Textbook play number 2. Abusers display their sadism in plain sight. Dr. Kerry McAvoy is a narcissistic abuse recovery expert with a doctorate in psychology, along with more than 25 years of clinical experience. On her YouTube channel called Kerry McAvoy, PhD, Dr. McAvoy interviewed internationally recognized expert on dangerous personalities and author of the book Dangerous Personalities, former FBI Special Agent Joe Navarro, in a video titled How Dangerous Predators Hide Their Sadism in Plain Sight. Former FBI Special Agent Navarro said this.
We have this mental picture of sadistic behavior, and we're imagining something from the Marquis de Sade, from whom the word comes from, and we're thinking about whips and chains and so forth, and it's not. The sadistic behavior of the narcissist is everything from tripping you up to making sure that you are made fun of when there are people present, an incessant need to constantly put you down, to an incessant need to never allow you to feel whole or wholesome or complete. And they put so much energy into that it is part of this pathology.
So sadism can be as simple as tripping someone up, making sure they're made fun of in an underhanded way, or other small acts of consistent routine harassment. When former Special Agent Navarro says it's part of their pathology, he may mean that simple acts of consistent routine harassment demonstrate a lack of empathy and a lack of remorse.
So the beauty of the pain that the sadistic narcissist causes is that we relive that over and over and over again.
No, you don't have to put up with that. Never permit a derper or their culty dolties, flying monkeys, to do that to you. Reliving pain becomes optional when you develop the right habits. Seneca the Younger says we suffer more often in imagination than reality. That's not a statement. That's a call to action. Learn to use these specific coping skills. You can tip your body's temperature, splash cold water in your face, hold an ice cube, or if it's really bad, take a cold shower or a cold plunge. Your nervous system will ultimately react with joy. You can also inject the endorphins that come from intense exercise into your nervous system within a few minutes. You can use paced breathing, my favorite is box breathing, to completely chill out your nervous system within 5 to 6 minutes. And finally, you can use progressive muscle relaxation and follow along with videos about it right here on YouTube. By the way, these ideas are not mine. They are dialectical behavioral therapy's crisis survival skills, remembered through the acronym TIPP, TIP. They are incredibly effective. Epictetus says we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control our reactions to them. This mindset may be an important shift. You control your own nervous system. Own it.
In the English language, we actually don't have a very good word for the kind of constant tormenting. For instance, in Spanish, there's a wonderful word, and it comes from the Latin, and it is mortificar, right? And what it means is, it's like I'm being pecked to death.
Oh, mommy. Oh, daddy. But if I'm not abusing, that's called abuse. That's abuse. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work anymore. Advice reveals the advisor. Textbook play number 3. Abusers tell the types of lies that controlling infants would tell. Dr. Karen Mitchell has a doctorate in human predators. Her doctoral work examined predatory behavior, including psychopathy, narcissism, Machiavellianism, sadism, and coercive control. Dr. Mitchell developed the persistent predatory personality model, a framework intended to identify the common characteristics and tactics shared across different categories of harmful or exploitative personalities. And this framework has become part of peer-reviewed research in scholarly journal articles. She is the founder of the Calmore Institute, whose work deciphers different and important aspects of predation. Here she is on Lisa Bellew's insightful Women of Impact podcast talking about the lies predators tell.
They get huge satisfaction from causing pain. They'll make up stuff you could never believe, like they'll say that the victim is sexually abusing their children. You know, the victim has 4 people they're having an affair with, or so you can't even counter it.
It's 2026. You've countered this abuse simply by calling it out, Dr. Mitchell. At this point, that's all we gotta do to counter abuse. They do make severe accusations, really big ones. Medical doctor Melissa Kalt, in her 2022 article from Medium, 11 Ways to Discern the Covert Narcissist Victim from the Covert Narcissist, confirms this fact. Size of the accusations. The covert narcissist accuses the victim of doing horrible, heinous things. In other words, really big, severe accusations. She continues, these typically are character attacks where it would be perceived to hurt the most, for that is the goal. The victim will defend themselves frenetically against these types of accusations, which makes them seem crazy and gives the covert narcissist supply. By the way, never defend yourself frenetically. Dr. Kalt is right. Your emotional reactivity gives your abusers narcissistic supply and discredits you at the same time. But perhaps a bit more insidious, frenetically defending yourself depletes and exhausts you of your own resources. It will make you physically and mentally ill. Your reaction then becomes a compounding factor working against you over a longer period of time. To achieve outcome independence, we must understand that we can never control the opinions of others, and that's a good thing. Control, control, control. How about connection instead? Authenticity. It's enough to speak truthfully. What anyone else does with the truth is completely up to them and not your problem. Dr. Kalt continues, the victim, on the other hand, describes death by 1,000 cuts. The narcissist has accidentally deleted their calendar. The narcissist accidentally ruined their favorite sweater. There's that chronic dishonesty and extreme manipulativeness. The narcissist hid their keys just to watch the victim look for them. There's that sadism in plain sight. The narcissist painted the victim as controlling to avoid being held responsible. There's that projection and reaction formation. Abusers tell the types of big lies that controlling infants would tell. Oh, mommy. Oh, daddy. The babysitter hit me. That's why my shirt is a little red. The babysitter did what? Please tell your mother what that babysitter just did. The babysitter hit me, mommy, with a chainsaw. What? Why did she hit me with a chainsaw? A chainsaw. Oh, daddy, please. Fruit punch is not a chainsaw, kiddo. I don't mind that you spilled it on your shirt. The babysitter spilled it on my shirt, daddy. Oh, she's terribly cruel. Do you want to hear what happened next, Daddy? She dropped a nuclear bomb on me. I was like, Alan, stop. Why are you being so mean? Now, why do these abusers use large, severe accusations to truncate the process of justice? If an accusation is severe enough, culty-doltiness tends to kick in for all of us. Well, why is that? Because if you're a healthy, empathetic human being, some psychopathic people know that when they make an accusation to you that's severe enough, the empathy in your heart will kick your emotions into high gear and totally overwhelm you. You won't be asking, is this true? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That's cold. That may harm the victim. So you jump right into, people would only ever say this if it were true. Everyone goes nuts based on that. People do not respect the process of justice when the accusations are incredibly severe. And the herds of derpers are notorious for doing this. They immediately bleed out severe false accusations to others as gospel while trying to keep a code of silence for the abusers that control them. I know this hasn't been confirmed yet, but a derp and a derp One more time for the people in the back.
They get huge satisfaction from causing pain. They'll make up stuff you could never believe, like they'll say that the victim is sexually abusing their children. You know, the victim has 4 people they're having an affair with, or so you can't even counter it.
We've run out of time, just like these abusers have run out of time. It's the wrong era to play psychopathic and or sociopathic games with people. Licensed clinical psychologist and professor of psychology in multiple universities, world-renowned Dr. Sam Vaknin has already revealed that psychopaths tend to be sexual molesters who try to destroy others with severe false allegations of sexual molestation, and that they tend to be at the heads of smear campaigns, probably in a Wizard of Oz style. Oh, I like your personality. Oh, thanks. It's a disorder. Anyway, next week's video will include textbook play number 4 in a video titled Inside the Mind of a Rank Psychopath. I'm giving Dr. Vaknin the closing words.
It is a narrative. Smear campaign is a narrative. Every smear campaign has a story that motivates it, the engine, the narrative engine. And it includes role reversal. Whereas the vast majority of the instigators of smear campaigns are actually perpetrators and offenders, they pretend to be the victims. They point the finger at someone else. They say, he or she is the offender. He or she is the perpetrator. He or she is the cruel one, the evil one. I am the exact opposite. I'm all pure, and I'm all clean. I'm all unadulterated. So it's a narrative role reversal.